This video is being recorded at 5:54 p.m. Pacific Time on Monday, August 15th. So I just wanted to share two trades that I took in the last 24 hours. The first trade I took was selling Euro Swiss franc. This was last night at 8:20 p.m. I took a sell on the breakout during the Asian session. Took a position with about 29 pips of risk. So far this position is in profit. I think maybe 40 pips so far. And the second one is on Euro USD. I took this one just now. It looked like the markets are continuing to break out in today's Asian session, so I just entered this one and I'll be monitoring it going forward, and I'll share with you what it looks like on the charts for these two pairs. Okay, let me go over Euro Swiss franc first. So this pair has been continuously bearish for several weeks, if you recall. On the daily chart, yesterday was a continuation bar, a full bar of selling. So I was following the daily chart and the 4-hour chart for this trade. So you can see I took the trade during the Tokyo session yesterday. Let me go down into the lower time frames so you can see this exact entry better. So yesterday during the Tokyo session, Euro Swiss franc wasn't moving down very quickly. It was kind of just in a narrow channel going downwards. I thought this previous candle that closed at 1900 was going to be a breakout candle. Let me delete some of the indicators here so you can see better. Okay, yeah, so here was the breakout that I saw at exactly 1940. This candle on the 5-minute chart broke all the way through the previous support, and by the time I saw this, I think I already saw this one doji candle here. So I was waiting for the retracement, and I was waiting for it to maybe retrace to the previous breakout level, and I would take a position. So yeah, I was monitoring the chart for a level. Yeah, I thought the retracement came and then was going to stop right here, so I entered a sell position, but the market broke out of this range here in the 5-minute chart and kept going up. So I was looking for it to break this counter trend line to see when it would go down. I thought it might stop at the previous high, which it did. So I wasn't too concerned about the buying at this point because all these candles were fairly small in body size. So I was just waiting for it to stop the upwards trend and then sell down, which did happen at the end of the Sydney close. So it sold down, but it didn't quite break through at the end of the Tokyo session. It hit the previous low and the market found support, and I thought it would maybe sell down when the London session opened from more liquidity, but instead there was still some fighting in the markets between the buyers and sellers. So you can see the candles got a lot bigger in body size, and we saw a lot of the wicks on the upside around 12 or 1 a.m. And then at this point, around the 0.50 candle, I was almost going to exit the trade. I was going to see if it was able to cleanly break above the previous high or even second high, but that did not happen. It didn't happen at 12:30 or 12:50. So I thought it was going down now at this point, but the market made a second reattempt, and I very nearly exited the trade at this candle here at 0.135. But again, I was just being patient and waiting for a clean breakout. So a clean breakout would have been if the candle closed, let's say above the 0.9664 level. I wanted to see a full body candle close above this, and I must have been ready to exit this trade like for 30 minutes straight, just waiting and watching the 2-minute chart as well as 5-minute chart and just being ready to click the close button. But thankfully it did not break upwards, and then around 1:40 during the London session, we had this huge 5-minute bearish candle that engulfed all of the previous candles up until 0.25. So this was more reassuring to me that the sellers were coming in force and looking to sell the price all the way down until a breakout. So yeah, it found a bit of a pause here, but then after this 0.200 candle, I did not see continuation back upwards to test the high, and in fact it was a bearish candle. So around this time I was fairly certain it would break out, and it did. So if you didn't see, this was my exact entry point, selling here at 8:20 p.m. and I put my stop loss, I think 29 pips all the way up to here. And the way I pick my stop loss is actually quite structured. I do it in such a way that I'm already planning how to exit the trade in case it goes against me. So I always try to leave myself maybe 2 or 3 chances to get out, and what those chances look like is 2 or 3 previous highs. So as you can see here, here's the first previous high, here's maybe the second previous high, and then I can set my stop loss at the third previous high. So this kind of divides my exit into 3 levels. I can choose to either exit very quickly if I see enough confirmations that it's going to reverse backwards, or if it's not clear, I still have 2, maybe 3 more chances. So even if I got out here, I would be only losing 2/3 of the entire risk. So I just find this as an easy way to measure my bet size. So yeah, as soon as it broke out, I moved my stop loss under the entry point. So yeah, that's about 2 pips below the entry point, and I kept monitoring to see when the market would retrace and go down. So that happened, actually I was already asleep by this point, but I think I stopped monitoring the charts at around 3:20 a.m. So yeah, I was afraid it was retrace all the way up and then go back down, so I was hesitant to move my stop loss right away. But after seeing this high being formed at 3:10, I moved my stop loss to the previous low, and it looks like it did not get triggered, and it continued down through the entire London session. New York was weak as well. Not as weak as during the London session, but definitely no buyers come in to cover to meaningfully push the price back up. And then if you see at the New York close, we actually closed pretty much on the lows of the day for Euro Swiss franc. And I was watching the market a bit into the Sydney session, so still not very strong, no signs of this pair being bought. And now we're in the Tokyo session, which just opened a couple hours ago, but it looks like it's renewed the lows, and it's retracing right now. So it broke out exactly at 17.15 again. So now it's retracing a bit. But yeah, I expect this pair to keep going down on the euro weakness and Swiss franc strength. There's actually several good setups between the euro, the pound, the Swiss franc, and the dollar this week. So I took another sell on euro USD just now. So this pair was moving similar to euro Swiss franc, but I'll just show the higher time frames really quickly. So on the daily chart, it looks like it's breaking through this triangle shape. It was resisted by the descending trend line back on August 11th, and it's continued down. And now it looks like it's broken the counter trend line. So you can see here, it's testing the previous lows again. But it has broken through the trend line and it might go down, and if it does, I think there's another 200 pips or so until the previous bottom to trade. So I'm anticipating this keeps going down further, and the reason for that I'll show on the 1 hour chart. But yeah, it has been getting resisted by the 1 hour Tenkan-sen each time, and I entered on this candle right here at 1700 because it did look like it engulfed the previous doji right here. So I was taking a sell in anticipation it goes down further. But let me look at the 5-minute chart now. So you can see I entered exactly on this doji here. It broke through, and then I thought it was going to be a bit of a retracement candle, kind of like this one, and then I thought it would go down further. But right now it looks like it is retracing, and in fact I don't like this setup so much. I may choose to exit soon. But yeah, in terms of Bollinger Bands, it did look like it was band walking up until here, but now it has stopped and retraced to the moving average. So yeah, again, I entered exactly right here at 1.01479, and I placed my stop loss about 33 pips upwards. So again, if it goes past me, I have one chance for breaking the previous low, a second chance if it breaks the previous high, and then a third chance if it breaks the second most previous high from back on August 15th. So I'm going to keep monitoring this pair in the next few minutes to see what it does. If it goes flat or, keeps renewing the high on the 5-minute time frame like this, I may choose to just exit here. But yeah, so far it looks like this week is starting off with some trends in the euro and pound pairs. This one's euro USD, but pound USD has a very similar setup. It's also just touched the descending trend line here, and it looks like it may form a double top if it continues to break this neckline right here. So yeah, it looks like pound Swiss franc is similar setup to euro Swiss franc, so it's also trending down. It broke this major level of support on the daily time frame several days back, and now it looks consecutively bearish. In fact, on the 4-hour chart, it looks like it's breaking support again at 1.1396. So yeah, I was debating whether to sell another Swiss franc pair or a USD pair. I was hoping to sell pound USD to diversify my pairs entirely, but it didn't have the exact right setup I was looking for, so I chose pound or euro USD instead. So right now I am in Euro Swiss franc, selling that pair, and also selling euros against the dollar.